Hi, I'm Caitlin and I'm an occupational therapy student. In this video, I will show you activities using everyday items that develop fine motor skills required for dressing. These activities can be done with children aged 2 to 5 and even beyond. Depending on the child, you can even start a little bit earlier, but don't be surprised if they don't get the intended outcome. They just might not be ready, and that's totally okay. Just try again in a few more months. In these videos, I will show you the activity, how to create the needed resources, and some examples of how to use these resources in play. This video is just to give you the very basics and to show you the general skills. Feel free to have fun with the concept and make it your own. Don't be limited by this short video. Let this video be the seed and water it with your imagination to flourish. As long as the basic task is incorporated, they're learning the skill. Come along and let's explore.
So today we're looking at lacing shoes. Now the lacing of shoes requires quite a bit of dexterity as you're manipulating those strings. You need a precision grasp, which is that pincer grasp we were talking about, which is the forefinger and the thumb. You need that to be able to pinch and hold the string as you're tying it. You also require some bilateral hand coordination as you are doing two different things with your different hands at the same time. You also require the visual motor skills to get the lace into the eyelet. But this is really complicated and we don't expect 2-year-olds to be able to do this. So what you're going to do today is we're going to focus on the actual lacing part because that still uses the same skills you need for actually tying the laces.
For this next activity, you're going to need cardboard, a shoe, a pencil, a Sharpie, some scissors, and some laces. Let's get to it. First things first, some tips is to pick a cardboard that's quite thin. The first time I tried doing this, the cardboard was really thick and I could not cut a shoe out of it at all. I tried very hard. So, get your shoe. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to outline it in a pencil. Now, the reason we outline in a pencil is because if we were to do Sharpie straight away, we would go onto the base of the shoe, the side of the shoe, and we don't want big black marks on the shoes. Some shoes are special to people, and we don't want to ruin any shoes here. So, next you're going to do your Sharpie, and you're just going to go around with the Sharpie. And the reason I do this, it's very rough, but the reason I do this is just to have a very clear line to draw on. And then we're going to take your shoe, and you're going to roughly draw where the eyelets are for the laces. Doesn't have to be perfect, just needs to be functional. Next we're going to take our scissors, so then we cut out the shoe. So that's what we've got. Then we just use our scissors, and we just want to poke holes where the eyelets were. They don't have to be the neatest holes, they just have to be functional. And we don't want them to hit each other, so just make sure that if they do look like they're coming close to each other, that we just take it back a few notches. Okay, so then we lace. Now, the first time you want the kids to do this activity, you're probably going to need to keep it fairly simple. So you're going to have to lace at least the very beginning, like that. Now, ultimately, you probably want to crisscross like this, right? How shoes are normally tied. But that doesn't really matter at this point. This point is just concentrating on the skill. So we want them to be able to pincer grasp, which is a precision grasp, the end of the shoelace and pop it through a hole. It does not matter what hole they put it through. As long as they are having fun, they are doing the task. Now, an activity that you can do with this, which I think is quite fun, is to get, this is another shoe I prepared earlier. So is to get a shoe like this with a pattern already made. And then watch them try to recreate the pattern. How are they going to do that? Oh, that goes there, but then this is in the way. So how do I do that? It involves problem solving as well as building that fine motor skill. So give it a go.
This is an example of the 3-year-old doing the task. He had a lot of fun with it. He just put the eyelets through the holes, and that's all this task is. And he had so much fun with it. I didn't need to add any extra motivation, but if he'd got bored, I could have. I could have used motivation like what I'm about to describe.
After they've gotten pretty good at this one, to a point where you think they're getting a bit bored, you can move it up a bit. You can make these with smaller shoes. Now you might be thinking, smaller, what? It's because it creates a smaller area for them to work. So after they get good at a big shoe, you could put them onto, say, a small adult female shoe. And then you can go onto a kid's shoe. And then they have a smaller area where they are using that fine motor skill. So they're really honing that skill by making it smaller and smaller. Eventually, you can move to a real shoe. And the real shoe has it's a bit more complicated because it has the tongue involved, which makes the lacing very different because you don't have that cardboard to lace through. With that security, you've just got a loose tongue. You need to try and do it above it. The fabric is looser than card. There's so many more factors involved when you take into consideration a real shoe. So have fun with the shoes, get a move on, get those feet walking, and you can try some lacing as well. I've been Caitlin. Thank you for coming.